Justin Field.
Thank you, Mr Deputy President. Last night I had the real privilege of watching a new film about our oceans. It's called The Map to Paradise. It's I was down at the Dendy at the Opera House with about 100 others. It was the Sydney launch of this new film. It's been put together by a couple of female filmmakers based on the Northern Beaches here in Sydney. It's described as an adventure-filled tale about the birth of the global movement to protect the sea. It's not so much about the animals in the sea that we see so often represented in films that talk about protecting the marine environment, that inspire us with the beauty of the colours and of the animals. It is about the people. It is about the people who give so much of their life, often entire careers, often focusing on one small thing in their community, but give their entire life and inspire others to give their life to protect the things that are so important to our communities, our survivability on this planet in the marine environment. It charts the course of communities, academics, scientists from around the world. It goes with some scientists down to the Antarctic who are studying whales and the impacts, particularly of climate change and of fishing on krill, and that impact having the impact that that's having on the food chain. It goes and talks to some Greek fishermen who have been fishing their entire life but have recognised that that is just now broken. It is not a career that they can pass on to their children, even if they wanted to. It goes and talks and meets with the president of Palau, who has protected 80% of the marine environment around those islands, a fishing nation. He has been able to convince his people of the absolute critical importance of protecting 80% of the marine environment for their future, for their economic future, for the well-being of the people, to ensure they do have fish for the future. The Prince of Monaco, who has been a tireless advocate at the international level, trying to bring people together, governments together, corporations and governments together, different industries together, recognising that unless we protect the ocean in a meaningful way with legislation that matters, that can actually be enforced, we are heading off a cliff when it comes to the sustainability of the marine environment. But one of the stories I just wanted to share is Chief Mario of this little island, Apo Island, in the Philippines, in the southern part of the Philippines. He's been the custodian of a very local marine sanctuary, I think really just created through local law and custom more so than state legislation. He took it over from his father, and he tells the story of, as a little boy, walking down with a torch at night onto the rocky, pebbly beaches, lying out on a mat there and sort of lying watch of the sanctuary, make sure fishes weren't coming down. His father and mother, who had been the head of the island, had implemented this marine park and this marine sanctuary, and they'd had to do it by convincing local fishers of how important it was if they were going to be able to continue to fish. He has been the custodian of that now for his entire life. He's retired as chief, and he spends his time now teaching young people to dive, to create another generation of advocates for the ocean. And he is going, and his students are going island to island, community and village across his part of the Philippines, starting a movement of marine protections in a community that has been historically so reliant on fishing and still is, but recognises that without these sort of protections, they literally won't be able to survive in the way that they have before. There were two takeaways for me from this film. One is this is a multi-generational challenge. And we've seen this story of protection and responsibility for protection pass from generation to generation. And it's absolutely necessary that that continues to happen. And that's a beautiful story. It's really powerful when you grow up with these experiences. And it makes me reflect on the message that I'm passing on to my son as well about his responsibility. The other one is about leadership. Every community where they made a difference, where they had to take up the hard challenges of working across the community, who had different views, they had real leaders, political leaders who were prepared to go out on a limb, talk about the facts create change, bring people together. And that's what we need to do if we're going to protect the marine environment in this country and this state as well.
The motion is